Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's the Pested Lawn Ginja, and I traveled to Oregon, me and Austin, on the lawn for What's Wrong With My Lawn? All right, Austin, it's our time to shine with everybody at home. Why don't you walk us through this lawn and let's kind of talk about what's going on, what you wish was better, and overall how you feel like it's looking.
So I've got kind of two different kinds of grass up front. The left side over here, I've got Kentucky bluegrass, which obviously is not looking very green or blue.
He's kind of disappointing me in a major way.
The color is, yeah, the color's missing. Obviously stressed out, obviously dry, compared to the other side where I've got a lot more tall fescue.
Yeah.
Obviously holding a lot more color, not nearly as stressed out.
Well, from what it looks like you have a couple varieties of fescue in here.
Yes.
As far as I can see, we've got a wide blade variety, and then we have your just common fescue,
yes,
if you will. Now, fescue is pretty awesome because the root structure, a lot deeper than our bluegrass. I hate to say it, but it's true. And I think the interesting part about Oregon is we have a ton of blackberries and blueberries, and the reason why I'm mentioning this is because commonly with these kind of berries that are thriving, it means that our pH is lower.
Yep.
Right?
Very much.
So if I were a betting man, we're sitting somewhere between a 5.3 to a 5.5 on average. And the best part about what you're doing is you have these lovely ladies right here, right?
Yeah.
Say hello. So these guys make it a little bit tough. Are they free range?
Yeah.
Man, look at that rooster. I bet you're not sleeping well.
Yep, not after 7 a.m. 6 a.m. and such.
Right? So, overall, I mean, just judging, and not to judge it too harshly. So it looks like we're burning up a little bit.
Yep.
Right? But, I mean, how do you feel about the backyard? And
backyard, up until, I want to say probably about 2 weeks ago, it was all green. Started hitting a heat spell, and really that's about when I started putting on the sprinklers. The back half, it does get a little bit more shade, but obviously it's holding color a lot better.
Yeah, and there's an obvious difference from the full sun,
yep,
to the full shade, right? Beautiful trees, man. Love this. This is awesome. But yeah, once we get in here, we're holding color, holding water, much better. Easy. What do you call that guy?
Phyllis.
I'd say a bad name. Oh, it's Phyllis.
Phyllis.
Phyllis the rooster.
Phyllis the rooster.
There's there a story behind Phyllis?
You ever seen The Office?
Yeah.
Andy says, "I don't trust you, Phyllis." That guy likes to sneak attack you.
All right. There we go. I'm in.
Phyllis the rooster.
That's what she said. So the interesting part is it looks like you have a lot of bluegrass kind of creeping in this fescue. And when you do that, you kind of get a bad hair day. Like, I'm not a big fan of fescue mixed with blue. The other thing is your fescue will actually go a little bit darker than the blue.
Yeah.
I mean, you really got to pump that bluegrass with iron, unless you have a Midnight or Eclipse version, which you don't.
Do not.
But we have a lot of blue back here.
One prevalent weed I do have in this yard is field bindweed. It's a viney type weed that originally started in the corner right near the highway and just started spreading slowly through the yard. Had the house about 4 years, and it's made it across.
Now there's
a
trick to bindweed.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know it, but it's actually Quinclorac, the annual grass killer.
Okay.
Just smokes it.
Gotcha.
Now, if you really legitimately want to wake up and just smoke out your bindweed / morning glory, you mix it with T-zone or triclopyr ester.
Okay.
Now, you got to be careful with this though. That is not a warm season grass spray.
Yeah.
Cool season, it works brilliantly. Warm season, you burn out your Bermuda. So you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But for all you morning glories out there, that's the way it'll burn out in 7 days.
Now on to the exciting part, which is diagnosing the lawn. We are going to be using my 5-step diagnostics approach. Now the first thing that we're looking for is pattern. Is it uniform or is it random? In this instance, we've got a lot of random things going on, but we also have a uniform issue where the grass is kind of laying really funny. Step number 2 of the process is color identification. In our instance, it looks like we're dealing with brown colors, commonly associated with lack of water or possible turf insects. Step number 3 is our water saturation test. During the water saturation test, we pull plugs like you can see here. It helps us identify the type of soil that we're dealing with and if we're overwatering or possibly underwatering. Step number 4 is a debris test, see if we have surface debris. And step number 5 is a pull test to see if we have any fungal issues or if we have any turf insect problems.
Somebody call the police. Austin is not watering properly. I'd give you a solid maybe C-. They're coming for you.
Yeah.
C-. There is a lot of drought stress here, even in the shade spots.
Yep.
So this section is the most drought stressed.
Yep.
And I gotta hand it to you. You took a system, I've mentioned this briefly a couple of times. I'm not saying that you got this idea for me, but you've implemented it so well. You can get these orbits, and I'll put a link in the description of the video. This one looks like it's a Melner system, and they work really, really well. So it's a valve system, and you've just taken hoses, and you put some heads on them, and they look fantastic, and you're actually getting decent coverage. Now, even with the system that you have, so we still want to do a water output test, put the cups out on the lawn to figure out how much output you have per hour. Now with the heat that we're having, even in Oregon, even as humid as you are, we're still going to want to shoot for 1 3/4 to 2 inches per week. But this is the issue. The issue is he's already behind on watering 5 inches. He has 0 reservoir. So to make it simple for you guys at home that don't quite understand watering, you want to have a reservoir of water established 6 to 8 inches deep. Now it doesn't need to be a pool, but it needs to be damp. If the roots don't have anything to chase, they don't chase. You end up with shallow roots, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. So Austin, you know, you were watching my Instagram, right?
Oh yeah.
What was the second thing I picked up off the plane?
Off the plane? Tacos.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Taco Vor.
Taco Vor.
Oh man, it was good. It was good. But you know what the first thing I did was?
What'd you do?
I grabbed a Thatch Rake from Jerry's. That's what I did. I grabbed the Thatch Rake. Big money, big money, big money, big. Yeah, buddy. Don't leave home with that, man. I was feeling so naked. So naked. Got it, baby. Yeah. Thatch Rake. And I'm glad I did.
Oh yeah.
Because this is crazy, man. Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about the debris test that we did. It's exposed some interesting problems. The major issue that we have is, sounds like you've known that you've had some bent grass in here before. Thought you took care of it. But it's back from the dead to get us.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to talk a little bit about the rooting structure of bent grass, and the problem that we're facing is when you don't get this mowed down properly, it literally creates these running, what looks like stallings, but it just creeps through the grass, and then finally you get grass, which wreaks havoc on a lawnmower. And when you look at how much grass you actually have in one spot, it's really not that much. And there's not a lot of options that we have here other than trying to rake up the debris and mow it and just get these vines or these creepies back into an organized pattern. But getting back to the original subject, what we were talking about is lawn debris. You only have a lawn debris problem where this is drought stress. And I just came out with a video the other day where we talked about dethatching when it's hot outside. Now, you really don't want to do this when the area is completely drought stressed, but when you have a history of stressing the lawn out and pushing the water back in, stressing the lawn out and pushing the water back in, you end up with a ton of debris. And again, I just took it from this area right here. So it's not like we're going crazy with this stuff. You just have a lot. I developed What's Wrong With My Lawn so you viewers at home can get a good education on how to diagnose your own lawns. Now, in this instance that we're dealing with Austin, we are dealing with uniform pockets and then an overall rooting issue. It gets kind of confusing. Now, our second step is color. Now, in our random pattern areas, we have brown color.
Yep.
Brown is commonly associated with lack of water. That's the most common issue.
Yep.
Now, I've seen some herbicide stress that was really old be brown, but typically your herbicide stressors are going to be white or really yellow. Now, when we're dealing with orange patterns, that's going to be either fungus or it's going to come down to some sort of fertilizer burning, which it doesn't really look like we have here. It looks like we're just dealing with pure brown patterns. Now, step number 3 would be our water saturation test that we did.
Yep.
And we found out that you get a solid C for watering, right?
Yep.
The amazing part about Pete's mix is the fescue is really happy. The fescue that did take, which we can blame just seed to soil contact on the germination rate, but I'm actually pretty amazed at how well this fescue is sit in, and the color is good.
Yeah, very good.
Color's good. And it is drought tolerant. There is next to no water in this entire lawn.
Yep.
How long has it been stressed like this for? About a week?
I would say
2 weeks?
week and a half.
The brown areas looks like we're going probably 3 weeks.
Yeah. Historically, I've used hydrotane. I wanted to try to see how Pete's tall fescue handled, you know, no hydrotane, natural heat.
Yeah, it's looking good for sure.
Yeah.
So then we move on to step number 4, which was the debris test, which we ended up finding out we've got a lot of bent grass. And in our drought stress areas, it's created debris.
Yep.
So you're gonna have to go through there and remove it. Step number 5 is the pull test. Now, judging on the pull test that we've done throughout the lawn, it just reconfirms the number 1 issue is we have an invasive species of bent grass that's just kind of going through and suffocating the light coming down for the grasses that we want.
Yep.
And this is a hard situation to deal with.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the choice that you have is to get a thatch rake like I bought, go through the lawn, pull it up, cut it.
Yeah.
Then you want to hit it with something that attacks the bent grass. Tenacity is kind of on label saying that it suppresses it and stresses it. It's not meant for bent grass.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it works. You said you tried it.
I tried it. It kept it at bay while we were seeding and germinating, but obviously reappeared with a vengeance.
Yeah, it just doesn't get it all in one sitting. So the one thing I tell you guys, if you guys are attacking tertiary grasses or less desirable grasses, it takes multiple monthly sprays.
Yeah.
Now, you always want to stay on label, so we want to be very careful with that. You want to read the label and not overdo it, otherwise you can leach into the waterways, and we definitely don't want to be doing that too. But guys, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, hit me up down below. Love to help you guys out. Till next time, guys, at the Pested Lawn Ginja, Oregon, we're slaying lawns. Hey, we'll see you later, Phyllis. Till next time. So Austin tells me that the bluegrass just doesn't work in the sun. It just doesn't work when you don't water it, Austin.
This guy.
Try watering it.
Don't use Scott.
Don't you say bluegrass isn't the best. It's the best. That's what I have. It's the best. Come on, Austin.